The interview clock was already ticking in his mind when the sound of metal scraping against concrete tore through the street, sharp enough to stop his breath and heavier than the fear he carried for his future. A single dad mechanic, running late and holding his only chance at a stable job, froze when he saw a wheelchair jerk sideways at the edge of the sidewalk, its wheel jammed and twisted, the woman in uniform struggling to keep from falling into traffic. In that instant, the weight of survival pressed against the pull of conscience, and he knew whatever choice he made would change everything. Before the story goes any further, if you believe kindness still matters in a world that often forgets it, take a moment to like this video, share it, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel, Grandma Dearie, for more real, heart-touching stories about second chances and humanity. He had woken up that morning before sunrise, the kind of quiet hour where the city still feels merciful. His young daughter slept curled under a thin blanket, her school shoes neatly placed by the door because he had taught her that small order helps when life feels messy. The interview was for a position at a well-known garage, a chance to move out of constant repairs, done on borrowed tools, and overdue rent notices. He had ironed his only clean shirt, packed a sandwich he might not even have time to eat, and promised his daughter that things would be better soon, even though promises had become fragile things in his life. Every step toward the bus stop felt like a step away from uncertainty, until the moment fate pulled him sideways. The female cop in the wheelchair was not crying out, not panicking, but the strain on her face told a story of pride battling pain. Her badge caught the sunlight, and the irony cut deep. Someone who spent her life protecting others was stranded, vulnerable, and unseen by the rushing crowd. Cars honked impatiently. People glanced and looked away. The mechanic knew the bus would not wait, that the interviewer would not care about good intentions, but his hands were already moving, guided by years of fixing what others walked past. He knelt on the pavement, grease from his fingers marking the clean metal of the wheelchair, his mind slipping into the calm focus that only broken things ever gave him. The wheel had bent inward, the axle misaligned from a sudden hit against the curb. It was not an easy fix, not something done in seconds, but he worked anyway, blocking out the noise of the city and the louder noise of his own fear. Time stretched painfully. The bus passed. His phone buzzed with reminders he did not need. He thought of his daughter's face if he came home again with disappointment in his eyes. By the time the wheel finally turned smoothly, his interview window had closed. The woman in uniform sat upright again, steadier now. Her expression changed not to gratitude alone, but to something heavier, something like recognition. He helped adjust the footrest, checked the brakes, and made sure the chair rolled true. When he finally stood, his knees ached and his heart felt hollow, because he knew what this kindness had cost him. He walked away with nothing but the familiar ache of doing the right thing and paying for it anyway. The day dragged on, every minute a reminder of what he had lost. He picked up his daughter from school, cooked dinner from leftovers, and smiled through stories he barely heard. That night, after she slept, he sat in the dark, wondering how many times a good heart could afford to break before it stopped believing. What he did not know was that kindness, when witnessed by the right eyes, does not disappear. The female cop he had helped was not just any officer. An accident months earlier had taken her ability to walk, but not her position, her influence, or her belief in people. She had seen the way he worked, the way he chose humanity over himself, and it stirred something deeper than gratitude. She made calls, she asked questions, she described a man who fixed a wheelchair like it was the most important job in the world. 2 days later, his phone rang while he was tightening a loose bolt on an old engine. The voice on the other end was calm, professional, and unexpected. The garage he had interviewed with wanted to see him immediately. They had heard about him, not just about his skills, but about his character. When he arrived, there was no awkward explanation, no apology needed. The owner shook his hand with respect, already knowing the story, already impressed by a choice that could not be taught in any training program. He was offered more than the job he had hoped for. They gave him steady hours, benefits, and flexibility so he could be there for his daughter. The shock of it left him dizzy, the relief almost painful. When he returned home that evening, his daughter ran to him, and for the first time, the promise he had made to her felt solid instead of fragile. Weeks later, he saw the female cop again, rolling confidently through the garage doors, her wheelchair moving smoothly, upgraded now, professional, strong. Their eyes met, and in that silent exchange lived the truth that kindness is never wasted, only delayed. His life had not changed because he chased success, but because he stopped to help someone who needed it more. If this story is touching your heart right now, please pause for a moment near the end and let us know by liking the video, sharing it with someone who needs hope, and staying connected with Grandma Dearie, where real stories remind us who we are. Before this story closes, we have one special request for you. Comment below and tell us whether you believe one good decision can truly change a life. The single dad mechanic never became famous, never made headlines, but every morning he wakes up knowing that doing the right thing once reshaped his entire future. And sometimes that is the most shocking ending of all.